What's up? What's up?
What's up? What's
We're
going
back.
on?
We're back. TJ and I are back. Season
Yeah,
2, episode 3, episode 17 in our entire series of college guys talking ball. We're back. A little upset.
yeah,
Football's fading away on us, isn't it?
it is. Yeah, we do have the Super Bowl though. Super Bowl is set. Eagles Chiefs was determined this past Sunday. Yeah, kind of a lot of things going on though. I know it's the 2 weeks leading up to the Super Bowl can kind of feel slow, but not really. I mean, we had some big news today. Tom hanging up the cleats. So
Goat. The GOAT.
you know,
Thank you. Yep.
yeah, thank you, TB12. But
We'll give him some love later.
we're back. We're still talking ball, so let's get right into it.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna have to we're gonna learn some hoops right with you guys, you listeners. So uh
Yeah, we're gonna
we're
become
getting it.
invested in the
We're diving deep in it for
on the
you.
hardwood.
So yeah, let's like we said, man, conference championship. Those games are over now. We got our Super Bowl matchup set. Personally, Eagles Chiefs. I couldn't be more excited about this matchup. I don't know if we really could have gone wrong. With any of the matchups that could happen, maybe a banged up 49ers team finds a way to win in Philly, which obviously did not happen. But the Bengals would have been great. A healthy Niners would have been great. But I am very happy about this matchup, just as a non-biased fan. And Hurts and Mahomes, Hurts is entering his name into this conversation with guys like Mahomes, with guys like Joe Burrow. Josh Allen not too hot in everybody's eyes right now, but
Yeah,
he's entering his name into the category with guys like that. So we'll definitely get deep dive next week for sure for you guys. We're gonna focus more on some review this week, but the matchup I'm looking at early, a week and a half out, is Philly's offensive line versus the Chiefs' defensive line. Chris Jones and the Chiefs' defense as a whole, and we know KC can move the ball with Mahomes and Kelsey and those guys, but I don't know if they've ever been challenged from what I can remember. Obviously, they just played a high octane offense in their own, but they've played the Bengals a couple times. They've never been really challenged. It just seems like a challenge here for their defense, is what I'm saying. Maybe they have been
yeah, no,
challenged recently, but they haven't been challenged by a Hurts in a running game like this. So
I totally agree because we look back at the game that they just played and they were just doing whatever they wanted to up front. I mean,
yes,
like what did they have? 5 or 6 sacks. The game Chris Jones had two. Yeah, that's definitely a great thing to look out for.
no, absolutely.
And I guess I would just say like the last time Mahomes went against a really stingy defense like this at all three levels. Great linebacker, great secondary,
Yep, yep.
great up front was in the playoffs, I guess, was against the Bucks. And
And
Tom Brady led that team and they ended up losing.
and the
So it's gonna be
Chiefs were kind of they were in a
yeah,
box
that's
that day. They didn't have
they were
any
boxed.
answers.
Yeah, and their offensive line is going to need to play good against a great like you said a great I'm
Eagles
sorry, the Chiefs offensive line
is gonna
needs to
have to
play
go
good
against
against
a
the Eagles
good Eagles
defensive
D.
line.
I know it
Yeah,
gets
because
confusing with
the
the O
Bucks
line, D line, but
the Bucks had a great defensive line. I remember in that Super Bowl, and they were just making Mahomes scurry around just the entire
yeah,
game.
those little
Um,
plays he was making, yeah,
and
absolutely.
I think it'll be interesting to see like just how the Chiefs get some of their if they get some of their wide receivers back and how those guys develop. You
Tony,
know,
that's
yeah,
big. Yeah,
Hardman.
yeah.
They've got some good guys. They've got some big guys that they need to get healthy. And I mean, if they're running out Sky Moore as their wide receiver one or MVS had a good
He
game,
had a good
but
game,
you know
but
what I mean?
asking a guy to, yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely, asking a guy to do that, a guy of his caliber, like middle of the pack caliber, to do 6 catch 116 or whatever he had 2 times in a row in
yeah,
the playoffs is it's almost too much to ask, but we'll see, man. I mean, I saw you put this, but a lot of storylines for this one.
yeah. A lot of
Um,
storylines.
I personally like the Kelsey Bowl storyline the most. I actually listened to their podcast a little bit. I know
Okay, and
you're probably not the biggest Jason
nah,
Kelsey fan at Philly, but I think those guys are pretty funny. So
they're funny, and it's good that they're playing against one another. Andy Reid going back to Philly. There's
yeah,
a lot that we'll be able to get into for sure.
no, absolutely, yeah. We'll get all into that next week, but let's go through some of these conference championship games real quick. We're gonna get off started with the best one. I think
Yeah,
that is not to be argued. Kansas City at home against the Bengals. They squeak out a 23-20 win. TJ, what you got from this one, man?
Yeah. I guess the first thing I should say is this was just, I mean, it was thrilling, the game that we all could have hoped for. And I guess, for both of us and, some guys that we talked to, it's always a good end of the year feeling when your team is already eliminated and you find yourself rooting for Kansas City
Yep.
in late
Joining that
January.
Chiefs bandwagon. That's
As
the best feeling.
I know you were, and I kind of was also. Definitely their props to them. Going to the Super Bowl.
Yep.
What is it? 3 of the last 4.
3 of the last 4. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
crazy.
but
I didn't even realize that really till today.
I
But
really think the thing here though was, I mean, and you're gonna kind of say it as well as I mean, it feels like the Bengals kind of counted their eggs, before they hatched.
a little bit.
Props to them for pumping up this game, getting everyone into it. But they kind of just let their whole fan base down at that point,
Yes.
kind of pumping themselves up, saying we're gonna go into Kansas City and we're gonna win. Well, they didn't end up doing that, and we know there's the big call. Um, it's hard to point the game to that one play, but as
Unnecessary roughness or
the
yeah.
unnecessary roughness, yeah. So we know what happened. The Chiefs were out of field goal range. Outside pushed
Late third
Mahomes
down, Mahomes on one
out of
ankle.
bounds.
Mahomes on one ankle. He
I know.
scrambles to the right. He gets the first down.
And he
Steps out of
tripped,
bounds.
and
Pushed out of bounds.
he trips and falls into a canyon, and his whole body is broken. And
15 yards.
so yeah, they moved up into field goal range and ended up kicking a game winning field goal. So that was that. But also, I mean, another thing that to look at in this game is, I mean, Burrow did get kind of outplayed. We
Yes.
have the stats here. Mahomes 29 of 43, 326, 2 touchdowns. To Burrow's 26 for 41, 270, 1 touchdown and 2 interceptions.
2
That's
picks.
a big difference. Those 2 picks were
Burrow.
very pivotal in the game. And if you look back onto it, I'm sure there's the points off turnover somewhere. And
Yes.
one of those picks probably led to a touchdown or a field goal, if I'm not mistaken. And, that's the difference of the game.
Yeah, I mean, especially in a game that's 23-20. 2 great offenses, but 2 great offenses that did score points, but at the same time, they weren't. This is one in the 30s, one in the 40s. So points came at a premium, especially off of turnovers, like you said.
And in the second half.
Yeah, I mean,
every play was huge.
Burrow didn't play. I mean, we've been joking about this all week, but people were really saying, like, I don't know if we even said this last week, but if we did, we didn't agree with it then, and we probably don't agree with it now. Brady is Burrow, or Burrow is Brady, and Mahomes is Manning. Like, okay, sure, but the game still had to be played, and the Chiefs have gone to like a million straight AFC Championship games. Like I said, they're going to their 3rd Super Bowl in 4 years. Burrow doesn't have a ring, okay? And people were so quick to lean Bengals, lean Burrow. Like, the Chiefs have Mahomes, who is the ultimate equalizer. Like, any Sunday, if you listeners, if you guys are down money, bet it on the Chiefs. Like, this is the type of team they are. Like, they are a sure thing all year round. And I was going to ask you what your thoughts were on this, because I don't know if I can find a better coach than Andy Reid right now.
Oh, no.
Today, February 1st, is Andy Reid the best coach in the NFL? To me, the answer is yes today. Obviously,
I think so too.
That's very biased about what's happening, but let's just take a step back and look at what they really have done, which is 3 Super Bowls in 4 years, including a ring and a possible another one. So you think too? I mean, you think he's the best as well? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, but it ties into. I mean, they, like you said, they have the ultimate equalizer in Mahomes, and that's what's probably going to be the most interesting storyline. Obviously, in the Super Bowl is they have that X factor, that proclaimed best player in the world.
Best player in the world, yeah.
I mean, that's what you need, right?
Well, I mean, the best players are supposed to show up in the biggest moments, and all Mahomes has done his entire career is do that. So like I said, we'll get more into the Super Bowl next week. But I don't see him not doing that. So I see him going off.
But I think we're focusing on this game primarily. So there is a lot to take into account. That was a big play in the game. The flag that moved them. and it's interesting to think, what could have happened, what should have happened. Obviously, that's not how sports work, but it is a game altering, game pivoting play.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, it is a woulda, shoulda, coulda thing, but I mean, like we said, bro, like the
You just
Bengals,
you can't take anything
The
away from.
Bengals. No, you're right. You can't take anything away from anybody in this game. But the Bengals, I mean, you're going into Kansas City. Sure, maybe you own Burrow, or sure, maybe you own Mahomes, maybe you've owned the Chiefs, but like everybody knows, everybody but the Bengals seemingly knows, like you're going into one of the toughest stadiums to win as a road opponent in the NFL, and you're going to play Mahomes, and they're calling it Burrowhead. They're calling, the mayor saying that Burrow is Mahomes' father. And as we saw with Kelsey at the end there, calling the mayor
Yeah,
jabroni or whatever, like
lots of emotions.
the Chiefs didn't mute that. They heard all
No,
that all week
they heard
long.
it.
And when a game is 23-20, 27-24, 14, 17-14, whatever, and in this case 23-20, a little bit of motivation is what, I'm not going to say that's why they won, but
No,
sometimes
but
it
it
can get a
drives a
team
team.
it can get a team across the finish line. It can get a stud like Chris Jones ready to go rush the passer. It can get a guy like Mahomes ready to go dissect your defense. It can get a guy like Kelsey to get going. So I don't feel bad for the Bengals at all, after this one. So I mean, maybe some do as far as the rest go, but I think you agree with me. Like, you open your mouth. It's the NFL, and not only is it the NFL, it's the best player in the NFL and one of the best teams in the NFL in the last 5 years. Just getting disrespected. Like you
Oh
should have.
yeah, they deserve their props because the whole Hill thing, and people said Mahomes wasn't going to be as good, without Hill. Well, that was just a lie. It was really just a lie, and that's what it was.
I mean,
Like
he's having an MVP caliber season.
people are just lying. MVP caliber, he probably is going to win the MVP.
Exactly.
There, this his counterpart is of course playing him in the Super Bowl, but that's what it is. Like you have to give them their respect. They making it 3 out of
And they
4
were
years.
doing the
That's
opposite. They
yeah,
were doing
yeah.
the opposite.
And I mean, they whatever. Mahomes, I'm sure would admit it. He didn't play very good in that second half last year
Yeah,
against
against Cincinnati.
Cincinnati, but this year he showed up, big touchdown passes, big plays.
He had that
A
fumble. And
penalty, the
the
fumble.
only bad play
That
yeah,
was
was that fumble. I
now
mean,
that was a crazy play. I was like, what just
Mahomes is
happened? Like,
so
why did he
weird
just do
because
that?
he'll have that scramble for the first down, forget the penalty, but the play made, or he'll flip the ball or throw a bomb, and then I mean, dude will have this mind-boggling turnover, and I don't know why or how, but and you know what the thing about him is? He always gets past it. Like
Uh,
he'll fumble the ball, like a dude that looks like he's never played football, get the ball back, scramble around, run around, and then throw it down to Kelsey. Like that's what I'm saying. This dude Mahomes is he like, does he not get enough credit? Is he so
no,
good that he
he
doesn't get enough
gets
credit?
no, he gets enough credit.
You
He
think he
gets enough.
does?
Yeah, he does.
I
Okay,
know.
but
I mean, I know we do. I know we
and
give him
and
credit.
and I don't want to forget either. Like and this is going to be to his own, putting him on his own high pedestal. I mean, he was hurt, the entire game. At least it looked like.
Yeah,
Was he not hobbling? And then, we look at these stats: 29 for 43. That's very efficient.
300
300.
yards.
That's very efficient. 2 touchdowns, no picks. I mean, he played great. There's no can't really get around that at all. I
No.
don't think. But okay, it does feel like one of the bigger things that we got from this game though was the ref play. Do you think it's a problem? Do you think the league could fix it? What do you?
I mean, I was on the Chiefs this week. So I wanted the Chiefs to win. So I'm not going to complain about these refs specifically, but I mean, it's been a problem all year. You're
Mhm.
talking about, concussion protocol has been a big deal. That's not necessarily the refs' problem, but they've had to, manage that. Take a look at players. You've looked at roughing the passer calls that have literally changed games all year. I mean, I had a dissertation on an episode, like one of our first episodes about that. And, they've always got to make ticky tack calls, the unnecessary roughnesses. the PI calls, things like that. So refs will always be scrutinized. They're not always going to make the right calls, but for whatever reason, it does feel like they've made a lot of iffy or bad or wrong calls in these games. Look, the thing about this game specifically is like you can complain. The game quote should not have ended on that unnecessary roughness, and maybe that is
Yeah,
true. You want to see it end on whether they have to get a fourth
something.
down or make a longer kick or earn it, quote earn it, like not give in the game. But I mean, it was a penalty. Like that was a unnecessary roughness. That was a penalty. We've talked about it. Mahomes is on one leg. Everybody and their mom knows that. He's the best player in the world. It's a playoff game.
They're gonna
He's at
protect him.
home. They're going to call that flag. Like, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, Bengals fans, but you don't touch Brady, and now you don't touch Mahomes. Like, that's what happens. Now, if you're going to ask me how could they fix it, I pay them more, and better ones will come. I mean, that's
Okay.
I heard that from a player said that good refs, I think it was Rogers, said good refs usually get paid more to go work for Fox. The guys you see doing the replay review things were once refs, but Fox hands them, a bag of money and they go work for Fox instead of being the best refs in the NFL. So that
I
changes.
like that point. I like that point. The only problem I have with that point is it's the NFL, man. Like, why are these guys? These are the best
They should
that
be the
there
best.
possibly be. But like, where else do you pull the pool from? I mean, there's so many levels of referees, college, and
It's
then
tough.
it could be a group of 5 referee or an SEC. If you're an SEC referee, that's obviously way better. But this is the NFL. Like, how is that not the highest?
It should be the best of the best of the best. But
Of the best of the best.
dude, I don't even know really what you do other than maybe take these dudes to seminars or something. I mean, I don't know, but maybe this referee problem is just the problem of today. Like that's just the problem of today. Week eight next season, we're not going to be talking about this.
No.
So
you want to limit the human aspect of making calls. And I guess I'll say this, by league defining rule, like yes, like you're right. It absolutely is an unnecessary reference by Osai, or it was Osai.
Yeah, it was Osai.
But as a sports fan and a spectator, you always ask yourself, what if? Like, what if these two teams had the chance to duke it out in overtime?
Yeah.
That's what everyone wanted to see. And I just don't like the fact that it's so game altering when the play doesn't necessarily alter the game at all, if that makes sense. So like a holding is blatant. Like it's like, okay, if that guy wasn't held, that's going to change the play drastically.
Yeah.
A pass interference, that's drastic. It just didn't feel like these type of plays are drastic. And then you say, here you go, Chiefs. You go to the Super Bowl now.
But what if Mahomes tears his ACL or gets a concussion going into that bench? Like,
but watching
we're sitting here talking about protecting quarterbacks again. So
yes. Roughing the passer is another one.
It's just, and your point is, you're right. You don't want to see it, but are refs calling games based on what you or or the guys that we're watching the game with, the fans in the stands of both teams want? I mean, no. Sorry, Bengals fans. Like, you have a player that, whether he
did something wrong,
blasted for it or not, committed a penalty. Like, that's what happened. So, I don't know. Like I say, I think it's the problem of today. I mean, Grady Jarrett had that pass or roughing the passer earlier this season. So I think things will be tinkered and worked with, especially with roughing the passer and some of these ticky-tack calls over the offseason. But I mean, what do we know? What do we know what they're doing behind the scenes? So,
and I guess this is, sorry, Bengals fans, but they had crucial, just backbreaking penalties for multiple drives. And this was definitely one of the stories either way. I mean, the Bengals just committed way too many penalties. Some I can
legitimate penalties. Penalties.
Yes. Holdings. They definitely had multiple holdings.
False
Eli
starts.
Apple had a bad defensive hold when it was like 3rd down and the Chiefs were way back in their own zone. So like, I don't think you can say, oh, this penalty was.
How about you point the finger? How about you point the finger at your golden boy quarterback who just threw 2 picks?
Yeah, threw picks and didn't, had a chance, but went 3 and out. with whatever, I think it was 2 minutes left.
You
So
convert a 3rd and 17 on the drive to go win it and then go 3 and out, and you want to sit here and blame the refs. Like, I'm already not the biggest Joe Burrow fan, but like, let's not, like, your quarterback's not perfect and he didn't play that way. So, well, I mean, we'll see. Sorry, Bengals fans. I just really don't like Joe Burrow, but yeah, I mean, I guess the question is, and the question that we will both answer and keep it short and sweet after this game. Who is the clutchest quarterback in the NFL? Patrick Mahomes is my answer, and Patrick Mahomes is
no, he is the most clutch.
DJ's answer. So I guess
And
I
it's
thought about
just
we could have gone into depth, but it's like that's who it is now. Like, let's give this dude the credit that he deserves now that Brady's gone. Like, now that Brady's gone, like, he's the man.
He is. Absolutely.
So yeah, I mean, that's
for the foreseeable future.
Till Stetson comes in the league. But let's get to the NFC Conference Championship. And quite the blowout. So, TJ.
So San Fran 7, Philly 31. This was a blowout for sure. And I just want to say, I guess what I have here. I mean, San Fran, really, what I took away from it is they're just the ultimate can't get it done team. It sounds bad from a Cowboys fan. Yes, we lost to them. Blah, blah, blah. They've been in the conference championship 3 of the last 4 games. They lost 2 of them. The one they did get, they advanced to the Super Bowl and kind of choked it away to the Chiefs.
To
the Chiefs. So
there you go.
So I mean, it's like they kind of rounding out to that can't get it done team. They keep getting there, but they can't finish it off, and it's not going to happen this year. Sorry, Shanahan, you're going to have to wait another year. But I guess also, their quarterback drama could be finally over. We'll see. There's always drama going on over there. But Purdy finally proves he was a 7th rounder for a reason.
Bro, we are relentless on Brock Purdy, man.
His career, I mean, but is his career probably over now after his UCL injury? It's to be determined. I think so, though. I think they re-signed Garoppolo, and I
saw somewhere today they're gonna move on from him. So they're gonna, they're gonna stick with Lance. So
Garoppolo's a free agent, though.
Yeah,
Garoppolo's a free agent, so
he's not going back to San Francisco.
You don't know that, though.
In my opinion,
you don't know that.
So no,
you're Rodgers isn't going back to Green Bay. Like, there's always a chance.
No, you're right.
Rodgers is that.
No,
yeah, but
you're right.
I think this game was really it really was all Eagles. I mean, they played phenomenal. They got the turnovers they needed to. They kept their foot on the gas. When San Fran put their 4-stringer in or whatever, they didn't waver.
No, yeah.
They made the plays they needed to, and they played hard.
Regardless, this is a blowout. Like, you talk about Purdy, that he can't throw. You talk about Josh Johnson coming in, getting hurt or whatever. But, I mean, those are NFL players. The Eagles right now, I'll be the guy to give the Eagles their flowers here. I know TJ has a hard time with that. Rightfully so. Yeah. But they remind me of, maybe you guys have seen college football teams recently. Obviously, my Georgia Bulldogs, but LSU and some Alabama teams. You see a lot of high school teams, and as the playoffs go on, and I'm not comparing them, but I'm comparing their dominance. Like, if there's really a best team in a conference, in a playoff bracket, they'll dominate their way through. You've seen it in the college football playoff. And the Eagles, I mean, you don't see it very often, regardless of what anybody says about who they played. I mean, they knocked the crap out of the Giants, and the Giants had just beat the Vikings. And they knocked the crap out of the Niners. Yes, backup quarterback. Regardless, like I said, I mean, that's an NFL team. They have blown out 2 straight NFL, teams in the playoffs. 2 straight good NFL teams, playoff NFL teams.
Defense, too. A good 49ers defense.
And, they did they moved the ball offensively against the Niners. So everybody's going to talk about Purdy was hurt, Johnson was hurt, Purdy threw it twice when he came back in, whatever. Like, the Eagles did still score 30-plus points against the best defense in the NFL, which they were the best defense in the NFL. So let's give the Eagles their credit for being extremely dominant. Right now, I'm leaning Eagles in the Super Bowl after y'all just heard me go, off about the Chiefs. So that's how good I feel about the Eagles right now. I do feel for Purdy a little bit. He had his shot. Technically, I guess, he's only lost one game in his NFL career. So if this is it for him, great little run he had there. I think he'll continue to get a shot. So many quarterbacks freaking play because of injuries and stuff. So I'm sure he'll get another shot. Will he get it as perfect as he had it this year with the weapons, with the offense, with Shanahan, with the 49ers even? I don't know. Probably not.
That stuff doesn't get
So,
repeated, which is kind of sad because like he's a quarterback that's not going to work really in another system. I don't think
no.
because
I mean,
may not be that talented at all.
he's
So.
not Allen. He's not Lamar Jackson. Like, these guys that can just overcome. So, but I got a question for you. And I haven't really put much thought to it, but my answer is the Eagles still would have won. But if Purdy never gets hurt, whatever, everything's fine. Do the Niners win this game, or what does it look like to you?
I did think about this for a little, and I don't think so because the way that I watch the game, and as much as I lament the Eagles, I dislike the Eagles. They really look to be in the full steam, pin their ears back mode all game.
Yeah.
And I doubt that they would let a sorry quarterback, not a sorry, but anyways,
Yeah, sorry.
an
Sorry. He's
undertalented
he's an
quarterback.
average quarterback. Yeah.
Yeah, an untalented quarterback like Purdy stopped them from the Super Bowl appearance that they had, I guess, been so hungry for. And the way that Hurts played, the way that Reddick played great.
Where
They
they
were
ran the
really
ball.
they were swarming to the ball pretty much all game, or all that I watched. And I should say, it wasn't that entertaining, but
Yeah.
yeah, that's that. But I definitely don't think that they win with Purdy either way, just because it's whatever. It's a 24-point swing.
Games in Philly.
That's too many. That's
Games
too
in
many
Philly.
points. Yeah.
No. So
I mean, what do you think?
I agree. No, I agree with you. Maybe it's I still think the Eagles score 30 because that doesn't matter. So maybe it's 31-20, 31-14,
Exactly. So you look at it
31-17.
from the view of, okay, so they already gave up 30 points, so now we're expecting
They
them to
had to get
score 30.
30
They
or
had to,
40.
yeah.
So no, I'm
And
giving them I'm giving them 13 more points, 14 more points at most. So I mean, like I thank God the AFC Championship was good, and I did win on the Eagles, so I can't be too upset. I was 2-0. I was 2-0 this weekend on my picks, my own personal picks for the conference championship. Um, but I have to ask you, TJ. Sometimes you see this in the NBA. In the East, sometimes the East is bad and the West is really good. The East has one team that can compete with the West 4 or 5. Do we have a little bit of that as far as the NFC? I mean,
I don't
you're
know.
looking at maybe, quote, one good team. Maybe the Niners are a good team with Purdy, with a healthy quarterback. But the AFC is looking like, yeah, the Bills. Nobody's high on the Bills right now, but they're looking better than a lot of teams. The Chiefs, obviously. The Bengals, obviously. And then you're looking at, some up and coming. You got the Jags up and coming. You still got the Ravens around, and you got some
AFC
teams.
did.
So,
The
but
AFC
what
did control.
my question is, do you think that there's like a power struggle here? Like, is AFC really that much better? Because I think they are.
I don't. I think these things kind of change like from season to season. I
That
think
is true.
definitely AFC had the crown last year. Uh, well, actually, not really. Now that I think about it,
No, I mean it's been
I mean, the NFC
it.
team won the Super Bowl,
But
so
then again,
maybe there is.
how good was the NFC last year though? Like,
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. That Rams team was good, but maybe there is a power shift. Yeah, you could be right here.
no,
Um,
well, I
it-
mean, like you said, I guess we'll have to see season to season, but definitely for this season, yeah, absolutely. So let's give Brady, man. Let's move on. Let's give Brady a last thank you. He got all my wishes last year, but what a legend he was.
Got to
He came he
redo it.
he came back. He came back for another run with the Bucks. Didn't get it done, but I think we can take. I think anybody, athlete or not, can take a lot from Tom Brady and what he did, his greatness, longevity, durability, his leadership. The amount of wins he had, the statistics, but they all came as a side effect of the work he put in and what we know about Brady. So one of the more impressive careers I've ever seen. 28-3 comeback on my Falcons in the Super Bowl.
Impressive.
So, I mean,
Uh,
much respect. Thank you, Tom Brady. Our childhood quarterbacks are gone, bro. So sad.
it's kind of crazy when you think about it. Well, I mean, he's just a legend. Tom Brady is a legend. One of the most successful men to ever grace a ball, to ever grace the field of sports. I mean, there's countless accolades and career records that he has. And this
Comebacks.
record, that record, comebacks, some of the greatest. Yeah, sorry, comebacks. And he never failed really to amaze anyone who was following him, watching him. And I have a question. I'll go first. So I was just gonna ask, what will you remember most about Tom? And for me, it's just his competitive nature, and it seems so wild to say that. Uh, but I was thinking about it earlier today, and I think it's true. You see so many guys in sports. Not saying they aren't competitive, because everyone who's ever played in the NFL or the NBA or MLB, they're all competitive. But these guys, man, they retire after a
Yeah,
certain, with no like questions surrounding it. They're like, okay, I've reached this age, I'm
I'm
done.
done.
Sports were behind me, I'm leaving that behind me, whatever it may be. But Tom Brady, he never really seemed to stop going, which is so remarkable because, when you put him against his, I guess his opponents in the sense of the greatest, sports athlete of all time. You look at guys like Jordan. Well, Jordan was ultra competitive, right? One of the
Yeah,
most, best competitors ever. Well, at some point he stopped,
he hung it up.
right? Tom Brady played way longer than Jordan did,
Or
right?
anybody else has ever. Like,
Like
it's
in the NFL, God, NFL, no guy ever went to the lengths that Brady did. I mean,
no.
there's some greats, Hannah, Manning, uh,
Jerry
whatever,
Rice.
these Titan quarterbacks. Yeah, they all stopped at some point, right? They
Yeah.
didn't they could never reach that. I guess the 7 titles or
The
whatever. But like,
longevity, bro.
it's just so crazy to me. Just to compete, the fire in him is just unreal.
It was unrelenting, and I think the thing I'll remember most about Tom Brady that's so different. You don't see it often. We talk about Mahomes and some of these guys, but it's like you just don't bet against them. And I'm not talking about
Yeah.
necessarily money. I'm just talking about, no matter the situation, no matter what record the Patriots had in week 5, no matter what record the Bucks may have had this year in week
Yeah.
15, week 17. I mean, there's still America's picking them against y'all. And the only reason that people would pick these Bucks teams and for the most part Patriots teams is just because of Brady. Like, that is so transcendent to me. Nobody, you're scared to bet against the guy. You're scared to take, you're scared to believe against Tom. And that's something that you don't get a lot. I mean, I think you get it sometimes with some of these, maybe a Mahomes a little bit, but you still were. I'm sitting here telling you, I think the Eagles are going to beat him. I would never say anybody was going to beat Tom Brady until it happened for the most part, 99.9% of the time. So that's probably what I'll remember most. Man, I'm not gonna lie, bro. I was a little sad about it, like this morning. Not like I'm not crying about it, but that's it. I mean, there's no more Drew Brees. There's no more Peyton Manning, Phillip Rivers. So
Well,
yeah,
we could put a bow on that though.
yeah,
I
no,
guess we could say.
yeah, no.
Uh,
So let's go real quick. We got to move kind of quick here, but let's just go best hire so far in the offseason. I'm actually going to go with kind of a wild one. My favorite one so far is Sean Payton with the Broncos, but I feel like everybody's picking that. My favorite hire is Nathaniel Hackett to the Jets, not only because he is so good scheme-wise offensively, although he was terrible this year in Denver, so we'll see. But I think he can get Aaron Rodgers to the Jets. So I think that'll be interesting. So that's why I like that hire for the Jets.
so I set out. I'm going to keep my eye on what happens with Aaron Rodgers and Lamar Jackson, two of the really big name quarterbacks that seem to potentially be on the market. We'll see what happens with Rodgers. But I was thinking about that earlier today too. Aaron Rodgers to the Jets kind of seems
Very
like it would,
possible.
potentially be a good fit. They have a great defense. Maybe get him another offensive weapon or two, and then in that scheme. Then there's some other small quarterbacks that could move. Guys like Geno Smith, Garoppolo, and Derek Carr. They're all free agents.
And
And
going
then
to
it'll be
probably
interesting
be
to
somewhere
see
else.
how Tampa Bay fills that Tom Brady void, because that's a big void.
That
Anything in the offseason that you wish
Yeah, I
transpires?
just know as a Falcons fan, maybe not being covered as nationally, but we're going into this offseason with the second most cap room in the NFL. That's like something we've never seen. Our entire rebuild with this new coach, new GM, has literally led to this offseason. I've never said this before about a team, but I think that like this is literally franchise defining. This is a franchise defining offseason for the Falcons as far as trades, free agents, draft. Like if we ever want to be anything as far as, be a legitimate franchise in this league, a winning franchise, I think this offseason is the difference in the next 10, 15 years, in my opinion. So this will be a huge offseason. Maybe we get Lamar. That'd be great. Probably not, but we'll see. Before we go, All-Star game starters for the NBA. It just announced the West is Stephen Curry, Luka Doncic, the King, LeBron James, Nikola Jokic, and Zion Williamson. The East has Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Donovan Mitchell from the Cavs, and Jason Tatum. Snubs, I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with my bad. That's for later. Joel Embiid for the snub for the All-Star game. He's averaging 33 and 10, 50% from the field. Best true center, in my opinion, in the NBA. And Shaquille O'Neal actually said this. We do need a true five in these All-Star games. And the East really doesn't have one if you look at it. Obviously, Giannis is like a mountain of a man. But,
I mean, yeah,
I think we should have a center in the game. And Embiid would be my pick. So.
yeah, but I don't think it's like a snub thing here. It's more like there's too many starters that could potentially be
There's like
starters,
four
and there's
guys
just
for
not enough
three
space.
spots. Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, no, I agree with Shaq. There should be a true center. And everyone knows about Joel. He might even be in the MVP conversation soon. Yeah, who knows? The way the Sixers are playing, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Reserve that you'd like to see.
I'm sure you're going to take a Hawk, and I want to take one
Yeah.
too, but I'll take Shai Gilgeous-Alexander from the Oklahoma City Thunder. He's averaging 30.9 points per game. He's also 50% on the field, and he's a stud on a Thunder team who are making actually a playoff push right now, and it has a lot to do with SGA and the way he's been playing. So I expect him to be in this game. Let's give the Thunder a little credit. So, I expect him to be in this game.
And I'll be biased, and I'll take someone a little more far-fetched because it's probably not going to happen. But I think just DeJounte Murray.
DJ.
He's
can
not
do
going to be
it.
an all-star. He was okay, so he was an all-star last year. He averaged, I think it was like 21, 8, and 9. Like he was an all-star last
he's
year for sure.
legit.
This year he's scoring the same clip, 21 points per game, 5 assists, 6 rebounds, a little higher shooting percentage at 46%, and he's shooting 36% from three. So it would be
downtown.
a real treat to watch him play. So that would be cool.
Hopeful that Trey gets in though. Hopeful that Trey gets in. We need Trey to get in.
Oh yeah, yeah. Trey's gonna be in now.
We need Trey to get in. So I already released these on Twitter. Before we go, we're gonna leave y'all with props as always for tonight. Joel may have already started, so you should have caught this on Twitter. But TJ,
oh yeah, he definitely has started.
But TJ gave out. Go ahead.
I have Embiid over 33.5 points versus the Magic. He just scored 30 against them 2 nights. I mean, he averages 33.6. So telling me he needs to be a tiny bit above average against a far worse opponent, I think that's cash.
No, I agree. Mine is DeJounte Murray, TJ snub over 20.5 points at the Suns tonight, 10 p.m. on ESPN. 24.4 points per game last 5, 40 points last game.